To people who have also worked with multimillionaires or billionaires, what is something different they do from ordinary people? Hire a private chef for a casual Tuesday lunch with her girlfriends. Just like that. My son's friend when in elementary school dad was one of the two founders of Capital One. Mom had a secretary for play dates. Dad would fly to London to watch Tottenham. Had a permanent seat. Their London house was next to J.K. Rowling's. You couldn't tell by the way they dressed or their cars. But their vacations were the big difference. The strange thing is that their son loved a mango juice sold maybe 10 to 15 minutes from their house. I always made sure we had some for mine. I sent it to him via Amazon occasionally. One old money-rich person treated me to a fancy meal and she was super polite and nice and tipped well. What struck me was the decisiveness and confidence that everyone there would cater to her, and they did. She wanted X dish that they didn't make that day and they made it. The one that sticks with me was at the end she said I want a cappuccino with something, I want them to put a design on it like I've gotten cute cappuccinos in my life, it doesn't even cost extra, it never occurred to me to just ask for everything I want all the time. This was the same person that on a business trip hugged me after the flight I did it, womanthorned. Me, oh was this your first time in economy, and she goes no, flying commercial, just so we all understand how rich. Have no fear when addressing anyone, no social barriers. My friend was a pilot for a very large aluminum business, think aluminum foil. The brothers would fly for business meetings, and my friend would make all the arrangements, including car rentals. These guys would drive off and go to meetings, dinner, etc. Sometimes they would just leave the rental car behind and ride with others to change venues or whatever. He tried to tell them the rental doesn't stop unless the car gets returned. They didn't really care. If it was any level of inconvenience, they just moved on. It was more than once he had to go back and find a car based on their recollection and get it returned. I was working on securing a large gift for a hospital with naming rights from a very generous donor and commented on his beautiful Patek Philippe watch. He took it off and gave it to me. I could not accept it, despite the watch being worth more than my annual salary a few years over. Later when I changed jobs he took me out to lunch with my former boss and presented it to me. Far too generous a gift, but he liked me. I worked for a billionaire for a year. At first, it was great, because he made us feel he was in the trenches with us. I came to find out that he made fun of us, there was only 8 employees, for the salary he was paying us and tended to throw people under the bus. It was one of the very few jobs that I gave less than 2 weeks' notice and never looked back. I am so glad to be out of there. I nannied for millionaires. It was new money and they had both grown up fairly blue collar. They were very down to earth, giving, and kind. Their children, however, had no rules, structure, or expectations inside of the house. Their previous nanny gave them whatever they wanted. That changed when I stepped in. I firmly believe kids need to know how to clean a bathroom, wash dishes, sweep a floor, and clean their rooms. Took about a year to get to that point, but I can rest easy knowing they're both currently in college and know how to clean the toilet face with tears of joy. Hashtag or something that you just noticed. I directly worked for 3 before. They were always busy. They value time a lot. One of them is a celebrity. The other 2, who were former Wall Street bankers, were doing business trips from one country to another so frequently as if they were just traveling from one local city to another. This was pre-pandemic. I do consulting for public companies and work directly with CEOs and board members, so they're all multimillionaires, but only a couple in the 3 Club. 1. There is no demarcation between personal and professional time. We should set up a call, meaning vaguely next week, and they will respond with I am free at 10 a.m. on Sunday while I'm at my kid's ski lesson. 2. They ask a million questions. About every detail. This is the #1 personality trait I've noticed. The critical thinking is to the point where if you misspeak one word that is easily well understood, they will question you to be certain. I do think this is one of many factors that has made them successful. I work with one, the owner of the social enterprise that employs me. Very driven, scrupulously fair, left-leaning. Works about 12 to 14 hours a day, plus another half day in dribs and drabs over the weekend, but doesn't expect staff to do the same. I know one billionaire very well, as in I have dinner or lunch twice a month with them. The first thing is that they absolutely work non-stop. It's constant, relentless, and I have no idea how they do it in their mid-60s. They also travel all the time, their schedule is insane. The second thing is something they told me. They said money is like a plant, it needs to be constantly nurtured and taken care of. I feel like it's always on their mind. This person's son would tell me that the business is the true firstborn, that he comes after. I couldn't do it, I don't see it as worth it, but it's a different mindset, they are just built different willing to sacrifice so much for their success, things that I would consider my true success, family, friendships, love, etc.